Check. Check. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the AfroMattt Show. This is episode 233. And, I know it's late. Who cares? Who really cares, guys? It's here. It is here. It's not a big deal. We're not running some sort of professional program here. I'm a man on a beanbag on a couch. I'm pushing 30, by the way. A man pushing 30 on a beanbag on a couch. And we should be happy that it arrives at all. So, that being said, it's here. 233. Welcome. If this is your first time here, this is a news, entertainment, educational podcast on YouTube and all streaming or listening platforms. So Spotify, hop in there. I think my card recently expired, and I had a moment where I don't think it was on anything, which kind of scared me. I thought my domain was going to be whatever, the RSS feed or whatever the hell. I'm not a professional at this by any means, but if you're returning, once again, I appreciate you. You are the lifeblood of this program. And let's just get right into it. This is episode 233, and we obviously have a lot to cover. We did the year in review episode, so we've had a little bit of a stockpiling of news, articles, things like that. And let's just start out with probably the biggest piece of news. We have I'm going to have to hit a gulp before this because this is pretty heavy news, but there was we have to talk about the lady who was shot in the head in Minneapolis. So her name, something Wood, I think. What was her name? Something Good was her name. Suzanne Good? Rebecca Good. So rest in peace, Rebecca Good. In Minneapolis, of all places, by the way, Minneapolis is the exact same location as George Floyd. Rest in peace. And so there's something about Minneapolis. Now, I know that all this is probably this is probably some sort of I don't want to say a false flag, because I think she actually did get shot. So it's not like she like a crisis actor or something, but because she definitely did get shot in the head. But I think, and this is just my personal, and maybe this is too soon to start thinking like this, but I do think it's a little bit weird that it's just weird that Minneapolis is the place where all this is popping off, and it just seems like their go-to spot for these types of happenings. And there was a lot of stuff weird with the George Floyd thing. It just feels like they're trying to start some sort of civil feud. And I for one I'm not falling for it. I don't want to fight anyone. My dream scenario is no one watches the news and everyone is just chill. Like, we're chilling all the time. No one cares about anything. No one has opinions about things that are in the political sphere. People can have opinions about philosophical opinions and stuff, but when it becomes political, this guy versus that guy, stuff like that, that's just not chill. That's not the type of vibe that we're going for. In my utopia, it's a chill ass dude. Honestly, you just need a chill ass dude as president who's just looking to chill and looking to keep things chill for 4 years. It should be just a continuation of chill everything. Like, they should just run on chill. Like the president of chill. Like, go up, hey guys, I know my opponent here said he's going to lower all this stuff. Yeah. I mean, who cares? I'm just running on, we're just going to be chill. We're not getting into any wars. We're not going to go and grab people from their countries. We're not shooting anyone in their face. We're not even going to, I mean, obviously, with chill, it means no killing babies, by the way, which is unfortunate, and that may, but you can't be chill and also kill babies. That's what I would, as a president, that's what I would be running under, is president of chill, president of, like, just chill out, everyone. Lowering the temp. The president back burner. Like, we're just putting this thing on the back burner, we're just letting it chill. Room temp. Room temp would be my my slogan. Matt, the president for a room temp country. I don't like when things get hot. People getting shot in the face, that gets hot. And the people, and you have to ask, when someone gets shot in the face, obviously, with Charlie Kirk and stuff like this, we have to investigate who is the benefactor. I think it's called Qui bono, something like that. Who benefits the benefit, something like that. So, obviously, in this case, who benefits from starting some sort of like civil war unrest if this really does pop off and things get heated? Of course, we've joked about it before. Nothing ever happens. Nothing will probably ever happen. I think that they had some sort of protest, but I think it was, I forgot who it was. Devin Costa, I think, in a podcast said that their heart's not in it. And he's right. It just feels like their heart's not in it. This protest, it feels like, it's a white woman, so it's like hard for them to find some sympathy somewhere in them for a white woman. So it's like they're torn between, like, should we protest or should we, like, not really even care? I mean, there was a white woman that got shot during the January 6th thing. Do we remember her name? What was her name? I mean, I'm not even going to get really into that, but I mean, she literally got shot in the head in a very similar situation. She was at a protest, stuck her head in, I think it was like the guards or something, stuck her head and got shot in the face, and no one knows her name. What was her name, by the way? I don't know. I think her name was Catherine, actually, by the way. Let me look this up. Oh, her name was Ashley Babbitt, which sounds familiar. Fatally shot on the attack on the United States Capitol. Guys, remember that attack? That brutal attack? She attempted to climb through a window because of the barricaded door, at which point she was shot in the shoulder. Response, Minister Aid was transported to the hospital where she died from her injuries. So, did she need to die? No. Did this lady driving the car need to die? No. Should any of them have been shot? Obviously no. And it just feels like whatever power is out there. And guys, part of my New Year's resolution has been to get back into reading. And I'm reading right now. I'm still reading, or I'm rereading the third book of the Space Trilogy. And this is when things, and that's by C.S. Lewis. And this is the book where things really heat up. And the whole buildup of the book is this town where the fight of good versus evil is going to happen, and things get foggy, and the evil starts taking over this corporation. This corporation starts taking over the town, and it's just like this palpable feeling of bad vibes, of not chill, essentially, in the town. And that's the sort of thing I'm getting from Minneapolis. There are too many, and they might not even know what's going on, but there are powers controlling Minneapolis that I don't even want to speculate on. It's just like a negative vibe out there. I don't know if it's like people talk about like ley lines or like gravitational fields, stuff like that. There's just bad vibes in Minneapolis, and honestly, I think we should take the whole. So this all started, remember, with we talked about it briefly on the last episode of the Minneapolis inspection of the Somalians. So then they crank up the amount of like ICE people, I don't even know who it is, people there to investigate or whatever, start knocking on some doors of daycares. And because of that ramp up, you have this counter protest of, lesbians and gays, and who like the daycares because, I guess, I don't know, because they're owned by Somalians. And so without this sort of, it makes you wonder if that video had never gone viral, would this lady had never been shot? And then you have to rewind and you say, how did that video get viral? Okay, well, it was retweeted by literally every single person in power. Like Elon Musk retweeted it, Donald Trump retweeted it. That video got like 1 billion views in like 4 days. I don't know. I don't even think Mr. Beast gets that much sort of that big of a pop off. So was this orchestrated? Was this controlled? Was this order from chaos type of, masonry, magic? And I don't even want to speculate. I mean, Minneapolis, I think it's called the Land of the Lakes or something like that. City of Waters, the Tale of Two Cities. What is it called? There's something strange about that place. There's 13 lakes, I think. It's surrounded by 13 lakes. Minneapolis has got to go. Give that to Canada now. That's my stance on this. My whole take is Minneapolis, we got to cut it out. And I mean like literally cut Minneapolis out of our country and graft it, the cancer that is Minneapolis, onto Canada. They can deal with everything that happens there. That place is a hotbed of strange occurrences. And of course, we have to take a moment of silence for Good. She shot in the face, and the whole situation with Good, as I was doing some investigation, is a little bit strange. I mean, also, by the way, listen to this. A fundraiser for Good's family, which was set up to target $50,000, raised more than $1.5 million the day after it was created. The only way, and I said this before, the only way to become rich in America, or like to break out of your social shell or your social layer, like to go from middle class into upper class and to go from lower class to middle class, is to either, one, say the N-word publicly on video and then have someone set up a GoFundMe for you, or there's option number 2, which is to get shot in the head to protesting ICE. I mean, those are the only options left in America. And this is what I was saying with like the Mr. Beast situation is. Oh, okay. My dog is pestering my cat. With the Mr. Beast situation, the only hope you have as an American is to accidentally bump into Mr. Beast, or Mr. Beast to like send a contest. I'm choosing one person at random who likes this video. If you scan the back of your Mr. Beast bar, one lucky customer is going to win $1 million. Like that, people have no hope. There's no hope, and when you have no hope, your chances are better when you just bet on random things and like gamble and throw shit out there than just trying to do the same shit every day. So, and I honestly, I can't blame them. She had 2 children who are now teenagers with her first husband, speaking to us media on condition that his name was not used. That man said that Good was not an activist and that she was a devoted Christian who went to North Ireland on youth missions when she was younger. Good hosted a podcast with her second husband. So she had one husband, 2 husbands, Tim Macklin, who died in 2023. Still already sort of strange. They had a son together who is now 6 years old. Macklin's father told Minnesota Star Tribute her third marriage was to Rebecca Good. So her name wasn't Rebecca Good? That's her gay wife's name. Okay. With whom she moved to Minneapolis just last year from Kansas City. So whose lives is this just a normal thing that happens? Like, is this a slice of life normalty in the United States? You have a good life, have 2 children, change to another husband. So it goes male, male, and then in the later years of your life, you decide to switch it up, abandon your children, and become a lesbian in your third marriage, and then move to Minneapolis, the birthplace of disaster. Because if this is like a normal occurrence, I don't know, but this is, very strange. It's just very strange. She has 2 teenagers and then a 6-year-old with 2 different husbands. One of them who died in 2023, very recent. Would be very interested in seeing how Tim Macklin died. And now she runs off with a stud, a lesbian stud, to Minneapolis, who won her heart. So I'm just very confused. This all screams wrong place, wrong time, and I don't really believe in coincidences. This seems almost orchestrated, like just too many weird things. Like, whose life is this? Third marriage was to a woman. After the third time, after the second husband died, you said, "You know what? I guess I am gay." Now, of course, it's a tragedy what happened, getting shot in the head. But it is just weird. I just have this feeling, and in nowadays, you can't trust. Honestly, I'm a huge proponent of trusting your gut. I think that's really should be the only thing that you trust. If you get bad vibes from something, we've evolved to be like vibe machines. You can tell someone's vibe by just looking at them a mile away. Like, we are tuned to a level of vibes. And I'm getting very strange vibes from this whole situation. Now, was she like an MK Ultra, like triggered and then called or pusaded? The pusad, of course, is a war mode term for the pussy Mossad, which is when a woman, pretty much a Mossad woman. Just think about Kash Patel's girlfriend. That's the pusad, the Mossad who invades you through pussy. Did she get pusaded to go to Minneapolis, and then maybe her girlfriend's like in her ear, like, "Oh, there's a protest. We gotta go to ICE. We gotta go fight ICE. Run them over. Run them over. You should try to kill them." Not. I'm not even saying that she tried to kill them, because she was like moving 0.5 meters per second. She was like literally going less than a mile per hour in a car. Like, that's easy to dodge. I've done that in parking lots of Whole Foods. Oh, you're like, oh, let me step out of the way slowly. Not once when going through the parking lot of Walmart and almost getting backed into, have I ever thought of unloading my entire clip into their face. Not once. I felt fear for my life. I will say that. There's been times when I've actually almost been hit by a car backing out or pulling out, and I just like, oh, and I just put my hand on like on the dash, and I like push myself away, and then they stop. I've never once thought myself in danger for my life. So, I mean, I'll put that out there, and that's happened to me when I was like 14. I've literally in high school when kids are like learning how to drive and stuff, that school parking lot is a death trap, and not once was I like scared for my life. So, this whole thing is weird. Just strange. This woman's life is pretty strange. Let me see if there's an obituary or like a cause of death for Tim Macklin. Because I swear, if he like died by suicide or like mysterious causes, let me look this up. You know, I've been trying. I press pause for a while. I'm trying for my life to find this person's podcast. Also, I found her name. Her name is Renee, not Rebecca. Her name's Renee Nicole Macklin. Her name used to be Macklin, and then swapped to Good when she married, when she became lesbian. But this says that Renee Good and Tim Macklin hosted a podcast together. Renee described herself as a poet and writer on her bio Instagram. According to the Minnesota Star Tribune, Good studied creative writing from Old Dominion University in Virginia. She also was the recipient of an undergraduate poetry prize for the piece titled On Learning to Dissect Fetal Pigs. So Tim Macklin's father, Timmy Ray Sr., reacted to the news of the death of his grandchild's mother. There's nobody else in his life. I'll drive, I'll fly to come and get my grandchild. So I want to hear this podcast. I want to listen to this podcast. But obviously it's been scraped from the internet. I cannot find it. I've been trying to find on this, like, this is a database of like all the podcasts in the world. I just searched her name and nothing is popping up. It's only people talking about it and having her in the title. So, I mean, they had to have had an episode together. What is this? This is Nicole Renee. Is this her?
Without having to stress other factors. I have a home, I have an amazing family, I have great friends, so I am just really thankful for that, even during this hard season of life. And hopefully this
No, I don't think this is it.
Reminds you to reflect on your life. I can't even speak right there. Purpose and all the learning lessons in this. And look to Instagram. You can comment here. You can go find the Instagram and
So
DM me. But I love the name Here and Now, so I might keep it. But
what do people do? Why do people start podcasts, to be honest? And I do realize I'm saying this with a podcast, but mine's different because I'm different. Yeah, I did find her essay on learning to dissect fetal pigs. I want back my rocking chairs. Solipsist sunsets and coastal jungle sounds that are tarsets from cicadas and pentameter for the hairy legs of cockroaches. I've donated Bibles to thrift stores, mashed them in plastic bags with an acidic Himalayan salt lamp, the post-baptism Bibles, the ones plucked from street corners from the meaty hands of zealots, the dumbed-down, easy-to-read parasitic kind. Remember more the slick rubber smell of highly glossed biology textbook pictures, They burned the hairs inside my nostrils, and salt and ink that rubbed off my palms. Under clippings of the moon, 2:45 a.m., I study repeat, ribosome, blah, 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 at IHOP on the corner of Powers and Stetson Hill. I repeated and scribbled until I picked its way through, stagnated somewhere I couldn't point to anymore, maybe my gut. Now I can't believe that the Bible and Quran and the Bhagavad Gita are sliding long hairs behind my ear like Mom used to, exhaling from their mouth, make room for wonder. You know, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but I wish I could find her. I mean, I do want to listen to that podcast. I've been waiting on the new episode. Guys, kidding, obviously, but yeah, I mean, rest in peace, Renee Good, shot in the head. Here's the clip. I think this is the clip. I can't show this. I'm sure everyone's seen it already.
It is a shocking video at the center of a national conversation. An ICE agent shooting and killing a civilian in the middle of a Minneapolis street. Now,
yeah, what is going on in Minneapolis, man? Guys gotta lock that down. Cut it out. That's what I have to say. That's my hot take, is cut it out. But let's continue on with the news. We kind of missed it. The very end of the year, they went in and got Maduro. So Maduro is, or I guess was, the president of Venezuela. There is some talk that he was an illegitimate president. I think they had an election, and the woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize. Guys, all this is related, by the way. So this woman won the election, won the Nobel Peace Prize, gave in honorary the Nobel Peace Prize to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, so apparently she's like supposed to be the president, but Maduro didn't want to relieve his power. There was no peaceful transfer of power or whatever. So we went in there and grabbed him because of his extensive drug ring. I didn't know Venezuela had that many drugs, but apparently they do. So we went in there and grabbed him overnight. We shut the lights off on him. We hit him with an EMP. There's some talk of them being hit with so like some of the guards said that they had like a ringing in their ears and like made them sick. And let me see if I had the clip. I felt like I pulled the clip for it. Maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, bleeding from the nose. What is the powerful mystery weapon allegedly used during the U.S. raid on Venezuela's Maduro? The ensuing chaos resulted in hundreds of Venezuelans allegedly being incapacitated, bleeding, or vomiting due to suspected sonic weapon. The attack reportedly resulted in around 100 casualties. A recent witness account that has leveled a shocking allegation regarding the U.S. operation where American forces allegedly used advanced mysterious weapon during the raid to capture President Nicolas Maduro. The mystery weapon brought Venezuela soldiers to their knees, bleeding through their nose and vomiting blood, according to the witness account. In a jaw-dropping interview shared by the New York Post, the guard described how the American forces wiped out hundreds of fighters without losing a single soldier. Technology unlike anything he's seen before. We were on guard, and suddenly all of our radar systems went down without any explanation. The next thing we saw were drones, a lot of drones, flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react. Moments later, a handful of copters appeared, deploying what he estimated were 20 U.S. troops. But those few men, he said, came armed with something far more powerful than guns. They were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we fought against before. He said, we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed, it felt like each soldier was shooting 300 rounds per minute. He shared that at one point, they launched something that was a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt my head was exploding from the inside, and we all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. We couldn't even stand up after that sonic weapon or whatever it was. So, guys, this is so there's two ideas to this. By the way, so there's two ways to look at this. One, that we actually have a sonic weapon that we used to incapacitate all the soldiers in Venezuela and take Maduro. That would... So, I mean, either way, conspiracy theorists kind of catch a dub here, because the idea that they have sonic weapons that can target individuals kind of means that conspiracy theorists are right in thinking that EMF, microwaves, all these sort of like technological like wave can be used to affect the body. Right? For the longest time, that was like a conspiracy theory, is like thinking that they have a device that they can use to target people. This is where we get the phrase tin hat, or like the tinfoil hat. It's because there was a guy who was legitimately a targeted person for an experiment, and they were shooting microwaves into his head, and he thought he was going insane, and he wrapped a tinfoil hat around his head to protect himself. It's called a Faraday cage. Look it up. EMFs. But the idea that rays can affect you with one is true, but the other way to look at this is actually from my favorite Asian professor on an interview. He said that Maduro is actually a CIA asset, much like the way that we use CIA assets in other countries where we destabilize their government. We implant a guy who does whatever we want, whatever, we help him win. This thing happened with Cuba. We put in him, and then he kind of turned on us. This happens all the time. It's completely, honestly, kind of like standard operating procedures at this point. It's kind of like the way things go. You destabilize a government, you implant one of your own, that type of stuff. So Maduro, and he says that's why it was so easy for us to go and get there, is because he actually came voluntarily. He's like, hey, yeah, guys, I guess I'm come and get me. Yeah, all the people are like, our radar turned off. Maybe that was just Maduro turning off their radar. Who knows? That's my theory, but they got him, and then what he says, and this is the Asian professor from Predictive History, he says that, and I think that this might be true, is on trial, Maduro is going to say that Venezuela had a part to play in the rigging of the 2020 elections through the Venezuelan machines. If you remember that, it was a long time ago, but the Venezuelan counting machines or whatever was like kind of a thing that popped off, and there's questions of fraud and the 300,000 overnight votes, stuff like that. I'm very curious, but they might give him a sweetheart deal. Trump might give him a sweetheart deal after that, after he comes out and says that, as sort of like, hey, good job. Thank you for coming clean about rigging an election against me. So that's Predictive History's prediction. It's hard to say because, for one, they do have also the bonus of getting Maduro and him being a plant. Also, you get the added benefit of all the stuff that they're talking about with the weapons, and that's all great propaganda. Like, if another country hears that we have like secret military weapons, it scares them. They're scared. So it's good propaganda for us, at least. And that kind of leads me to think that maybe it is one of those types of situations. I don't really know. But the whole thing is weird. Where we grabbed him overnight. He looked really chill, honestly. They brought him to like a secret spot. He looked chill as hell. Super chill. He's like in a one piece. I think they even got him a change of clothes. He's in like a full Nike Tech outfit. He is chill. He's like doing peace signs next to them. So he's probably a CIA asset over there. Yeah, I don't know if we used special military tech, or if, you know, because we do have military tech, like technology they can shoot into your head and make you think thoughts. They can literally do like bone conduction. If you know anything about science, and I'm not even claiming to be that much of a scientist, but I know the idea of resonance. Everyone who's seen like a opera singer break a glass while singing into it knows the idea of resonance. That's resonance. Everything has a frequency. Every object has a frequency at which you can apply waves to it to disrupt its rigidity. They do this on, I mean, I'm not going to go all into it, but they do this on even bridges. Like steel bridges have to have a certain like structure so that they don't resonate with the cars passing on them, or the wind going through them doesn't resonate them to a point when it matches the frequency and then just starts to completely warp. And there's a famous bridge that was like started to resonate with the wind, and it was like just like completely going up like wave cosine, and then it just completely destroyed the bridge. But this can happen with something as easy as bone. Bone is it has a resonance. Your brain has a resonance. And I mean, if they have headphones now called bone induction headphones, you just wear them. I've seen people at the gym. It just like, it doesn't even go in the ear. It just goes like right on the cheekbone, and it transmits audio through your bone so that you hear it. So they can make you hear voices, is what I'm trying to say. They can literally shoot voices into your head. In theory, right? In theory. So who's to say? It's technology. This is stuff that they probably already have. Now, did we use it on Venezuela? I don't know. But I do know that they're going to make this into a movie, and it's going to be pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. When I heard that it was like 20 troops versus like 200,000 and we won and we came in, didn't even lose a single soldier, that sounds cool. And anytime that I start getting hype for the U.S. government, I know that there's some sort of propaganda involved. And this is screaming to me propaganda. We have a machine, we have rays, we have technology they've never seen before, we're so advanced. This is all screaming propaganda to me. This is all screaming USA, USA, USA. And any time that you find yourself screaming USA, you know you're being manipulated. I've had it, several times. Any flyover, like flyovers, that's sick. They have the planes, and they have, you see a B-2 bomber or something like that. You're like, this is sick. We are sick. They do like the little claw motions as they take off. Those compilations are cool. Yes, I understand. It's manipulation. We're going to probably start seeing more advertisements for like, join the army. They're going to take advantage of this. This is all planned shit. Trump declares himself acting president of Venezuela. I do kind of appreciate that they did say they're like, yeah, we're just going to Venezuela for the oil. So we're going to take their oil and we're going to leave. We are going into there to steal their oil. I do appreciate that upfront kind of like matter-of-factness about the whole situation. I appreciate that a lot. It's way better than being like dancing around it. No one likes to dance around the subject. It's like, you know, 9/11 happens, we're like, oh, we have to go to Afghanistan, and then we have to go to Iraq, and then we actually got both that wrong, and now we're in Syria, or whatever the hell that whole mess was. I don't even really know. I was 1 year old when 9/11 happened. I was 1. So I don't really know what that whole thing was about. But it's like, it's good to know that I don't want to say that this is like a respect thing, but maybe it's just like a time crunch thing where they're like, okay, well, we don't have time to really even explain why we're doing this. So I mean, we're just going to be dead ass. We're just going there for their oil. So we're going there to steal their oil. And everyone's like, well, I guess, well, thanks for being upfront about it. And honestly, I'm not even that upset. Is that bad? Is it bad that I'm not that upset? I'm not really that mad. I wasn't attached to Venezuela in any way. I don't really know how this affects anything. The price of gas apparently is supposed to come down. Good news. But yeah, so Maduro, I think he's being held as well in the same prison as Diddy and Luigi Mangione, and like, I mean, it's like a famous, lots of famous people in that prison. It's the same one Jeffrey Epstein got killed in, I believe. Strange. Very interesting. I think he's being held on the same exact block as Tekashi 6ix9ine. Same exact block as Tekashi 6ix9ine. Think about that. I don't really know what that means. It's all so confusing. And that's why if you try to like follow any of these threads, it's just an energy. Like, I don't know if there's any sort of like real mastermind behind it. It's just chaos. It's just like a scrambling. It just feels like a mad dash. I mean, I said it a long time ago in an old episode. I think it was called like Smash and Grab. But it just feels like a big smash and grab. And everyone's just all the countries are just trying to grab, smash and grab. Trying to get what's left. China's probably going to smash and grab, try to grab Taiwan. Japan might smash and grab, try to grab, what are they trying to grab? North Korea? South Korea? I don't know what they're trying to. Smash and grab for Ukraine. Smash and grab for, what's the one? Palestine? Yeah. It's a lot of smash and grabs going on. But Venezuela does have more oil in it than anywhere. I mean, literally anywhere. This is this next one is good news, by the way. We actually have some good news coming up here. This is Trump. Let me turn this down because I'm like sinking in my chair. Trump calls for a ban on Wall Street buying single-family homes, citing affordability concerns. So Trump does have some cool things. This is a good idea. Coming from Trump, this is kind of weird, but so this is like would ban large institutional investors from buying single-family homes nationwide. If you do the math, a third of every house, every single-family home, meaning a home that could have gone to a couple trying to start a family, trying to start a life, to carve out a piece of the American dream, a third of those houses available went to large investment firms, which these large investment firms, we're going to dive a little bit deeper later this episode. These large investment firms are actually just Ponzi schemes in a trench coat. That's what they are. They turn investment money into investments, and they use those investments to rack up debt, and they use that debt to pay back their investors. So this Ponzi scheme that America is built on, there are more hedge fund companies in America than McDonald's right now? Let me ask ChatGPT real quick. Let me fact check that with Grok. Hey Grok.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I was wondering, is it true that there are more hedge fund investment firms than there are McDonald's in the U.S.? She's searching right now.
No, that's not true for hedge funds. There are about 3,800 to 4,000 hedge fund firms in the U.S. right now.
Oh, shit.
McDonald's has around 13,600 locations here. You might be
Okay,
thinking of
thank
a
you.
similar stat that's been going around about private equity funds.
Okay.
There are way more. Anything else
Oh,
on your
wait.
mind?
Wait, Grok, how many private equity funds are there compared to McDonald's? She knows. She knows what I was thinking. I didn't know Grok was the
Yeah, that stat's been making the rounds lately. There are about 19,000 private equity funds in the U.S. right now, per Preqin data, and folks like KKR's co-CEO, while McDonald's has around 13,800 locations here. So yep, way more PE funds than Big Macs. It's wild how crowded that space has gotten.
Okay. So yeah, there are more private equity funds than there are McDonald's in the United States, which seems like an issue. One of the unintended consequences. So this has been making home affordability go way down. The ability of private equity to buy homes. Once again, if you're imagine, just Dick and Jane trying to buy a house, trying to start a family. They've got a kid on the way. They're trying to buy a house. They put in an offer. It's not high. It's not a high offer. They're willing to make a few sacrifices. The house isn't perfect. It doesn't cross off all of their boxes. It's not exactly what they need, but it is enough. It's enough. It's a 2-bed. They don't need one. They're sacrificing. They don't need an office. They're going from their apartment to here. It's just enough space. They put in a market value offer right on the dot. They're okay with the coming back. They maybe have $10,000 to go above. Then they hear back. They get a letter. They get a call from their realtor. Their realtor calls them and says, "Hey, I'm sorry. I know you love that house, but they did say they got an offer. Can we go up by $50,000?" And then the couple cries a little bit. The woman's probably crying. She's pregnant, so her hormones are going out the wazoo. And the husband's like, "Yeah, well, we just can't do that. We'll have to keep on searching." And then the husband calls back the realtor, "Hey, can I ask can you ask who the buyer was?" He's like, "Yeah, it looks like a private equity company. It looks like Homeowners LLC bought that house out from under you." Oh, okay. This is a reality for a third of homes. What I just described. That's a reality for a third of all American homes of last year, 2025. So if Trump gets this done, yes, he's a pedophile. Yes, he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. But at the very least, he will have done one great act as president. Just getting large firms to stop buying single-family homes. This is another crazy news piece. Bridget Macron. 10 people have been found guilty of cyberbullying France's first lady. By the way, imagine being the first lady and being upset that people are cyberbullying you. Dude, if Donald Trump was... Like, people say that America is in a fascist regime right now. Imagine going to jail and being found guilty of cyberbullying your president. These people were saying that, let's see, a Paris court found the wife of French President Emmanuel Macron has been subjected to particularly degrading comments by the defendants, some of whom reportedly suggested Bridget was transgender. She's a transgender and a pedophile. Well, thankfully in America, and this is why I do love America, is because I can say that Trump is a pedophile and not be scared of being sentenced to, what are these people being sentenced to? The defendants, by the way, in the safety of America, I can 100% say that Bridget Macron's wife is a man and a pedophile. Both of those things, by the way, are true. Like, the things are true. Bridget Macron is a transgender man. And have you ever seen the video of Bridget Macron sitting down? He like hikes up his pants and then sits down. I've only seen a man over the age of 40 do that, by the way. I've only ever seen a man hike up their pants before they sit down. And that's to avoid crotch irritation and bunching, by the way. It's just a habit that forms. And I am making an allegation, but I'm in America, so Macron, please don't reach out. All 10 defendants will have to jointly pay 10,000 euros in compensation for moral damage. God damn. Maybe she is a woman. Being this upset that people are talking about you is woman behavior, by the way. They're talking about me on the internet. Also, there was a crazy photo of Macron recently with like a crazy black eye, like one of those blood eyes. I don't know. There's no one in the world that gets more. Here's a picture of him. Look at that eye. There's no one in the world who gets more black eyes than rich elites. Have you ever noticed that? I know a lot of people, and I know people that work in like construction and like even working at Home Depot. No one ever got a black eye. I've never seen anyone with a black eye. You would imagine working around lumber, loading things, you're loading up on the whatever. You're not wearing hard hats. You're not wearing a hard hat inside of a Home Depot. You're moving things around. You're grabbing things from the top shelf. Never once have I seen a black eye on an individual in my life. Online, you see famous people with black eyes all the time. That president of the WEF recently with the hellish bloodshot eye, insane. Insanity. What's going on? And I know everyone's like, there's the Black Eye Club. I just want to know why these people are getting black eyes. All right, let's talk about this one last thing. And honestly, this should have made it onto the Curious Deaths Award for 2025. I just completely missed it. MIT professor was fatally shot in his home. Police launched a homicide investigation. So this is Mr. Lorenio, Mr. Nuno F.G. Lorio, a 47-year-old physicist and fusion scientist. He recently posted a paper, I believe, talking about fusion and using it as an energy source. And anytime you get into energy sources and water-based engines, stuff like this, you're on the chopping block, is what I'll say, is you're on the chopping block. But this guy was an MIT professor interested in fusion energy. He was also investigating plasma-based technology. So a lot of this stuff I feel like is being suppressed. Also, why do you hop into... It's not hyperbole to say that MIT is where you go to find solutions to humanity's biggest problems. Fusion energy will change the course of human history. That's a quote from him, by the way. He's saying that fusion energy will change the course of human history. Guess what? Not anymore, because you said that out loud, and you found a loophole in one of the biggest companies, or one of the biggest bigs. There's big tobacco, big pharma. Big energy is maybe the biggest, and you can't be throwing around the word fusion and not think that you're going to get popped. I mean, it's just what it is. No, well, yeah. Where's the investigation on this? This happened, by the way, December 17th. So it's been almost a full month. We haven't heard a single thing. Where are the cameras? Who was it? Why did they break in? How did they break in? Was it forced entry? Do we have fingerprints? It was investigated as a homicide. Where's the weapon? Have we found the weapon? Are there footsteps? Traffic lights? Guys, what's going on? Why are we not hearing about any of this? Of course we're not hearing about any of it because I'm sure if you look up shot in the head, the first thing that pops up is Renee Good. Rest in peace. May she rest in peace. That being said, let's just get on to TikTok time.
Right now,
I know that we said we were going to talk about it later, but here it is. This is a lady breaking down what investment firms are.
in America, we have more private equity firms than we have McDonald's. That should terrify everyone.
What?
Okay? It is now the investment firm for the Ivy League Nepo babies of choice, right? And they have a 31 to 39,000 company backlog they cannot sell because they've stacked them all with too much debt. They're no longer worth what they're claiming they're worth, and they have to close out their funds. For anyone that doesn't understand how a private equity fund works, the private equity firm takes no liability. They create a fund that has some investors. They borrow the money from other people. They don't use their own money or very little of their own money. They borrow the money from pensions and banks and other investment mechanisms, a lot of public pensions especially. And then they go and they buy things with that and debt. They stack the debt on top of the company, and the company that they are buying owes the debt back.
So this is sort of like an NGO situation, a non-government organization. This is kind of the same sort of funneling of funds and the scam. Everything is a scam. Everyone's on the Somalis' back for there being a scam. Guys, I'm going to be honest. There's been scammers. We got to investigate the bank. The bank's loans. They are the original Somalians, by the way. Those are the original Somalians. The bankers, loansters, the people who open up a private investment firms. This is a giant Ponzi scheme. And the last time we saw a giant scheme like this fail, the only way to get out of a Ponzi scheme is to bust it. You have to break it. It has to fall apart and it has to crumble. This is how it happens. We saw this with Jordan Belfort. We saw this with Bernie Madoff. We saw this with Lehman Marcus, or whatever the hell that guy was called, in the 2008 crash, Wall Street, whatever. All these scams have to come crumbling down. And in the case of a housing market scam, it was bought out by the U.S. government. A scam this big, private equity that controls literally $10 trillion worth of assets, I'm sure if you just add them all up, that's just counting BlackRock and Vanguard. It's like $11 trillion. But this is too big, I think that it needs to be bailed out. And how do you bail it out? I'm not even sure. This is probably a conversation that they're having at tables with, dimly lit tables with cigar smoke and red velvet and checkerboard floors is what I'm talking about. These are the conversations that the taste makers of society are having, is how do we bail ourselves out of the hole that we've dug, and how do we make it out alive? Because if the shit pops and shit breaks, they're next on the chopping block. It's going to be guillotines. It's going to be guillotine time. I can't control it. I'm not going to be doing it. I'm going to be locking myself in my house with guns if shit pops off. But I'm just saying that because that's what I am. I'm a locker down type situation. There are people that maybe don't have that option, and they are go out and get type person. I'm a lock myself down type of person, but there are go out and get type people, and they're not safe from those people. There's going to be crowds. There's always crowds. This is why they want your guns, is because they're scared of crowds. In the 2012 or whatever, there was the Occupy Wall Street. If those people were armed, it would have been civil war, maybe on the spot. But they're very scared of crowds. But if this whole thing pops off, that's what they're scared of, is a crowd of people that lost all their money coming to ask for it back. Hey, you bought my company, and now you're bankrupt. What's up? We all lost our job. Our entire town. This is when like an investment company will buy up an entire town. If that town goes belly up, that whole town is coming for you. You have an entire town, a population of 10,000 people that all lost their jobs coming for your head. That's not good. That's not what they want. So when this thing busts, what they're talking about right now, they're not talking about Venezuela. They're not talking about oil. They're not talking about the conversation that they're having. They're having conversations 10 years ahead of us. They're having conversations 15 years ahead of us. They're having conversations right now about how, when this thing busts, do we make it out alive? So they're building underground bunkers. They're finding islands. They're finding places built on mountaintops. They're storing seeds. They're finding water. They're hoarding water supplies. They're going to hide from us. And by us, I'm not talking about me, guys. By the way, I'm not talking about me. Government listening, I'm not talking about me. I'm not doing any of this. I'm gonna sit down, lock myself up, and wait it out type of situation. I'm honestly with you. I'm honestly with you guys. God, please let me be with you guys. I'm on your side here. I'm on your side here. Just let me come to the place. Let me come in. I'll work. I'll work for free. Guys, just let me hang out at the, wherever it is. Let me be I don't want to be a sex slave or anything like that, but I'll be a normal slave. I'll be like a normal slave, like carrying around a platter. I can clean up pretty nicely. I'll shave my head. I'll shave my face. Wear nondescript clothing. I'll carry a tray like this full of hors d'oeuvres around your party. I'll be blindfolded. You can blindfold me. I don't even need to know who's there. Just let me be there, okay? Of course, this is all considering, I don't really even know what I'm talking about, but what I'm saying is that when the only way a Ponzi scheme cannot go on forever. That's the whole idea of a Ponzi scheme. Is people make out there are people that lose and there's people that win.
Yo, what's up, homie? Would you rather $1 or a mystery gift?
Mystery gift.
All right.
Mystery gift. What's the mystery gift? Yes, you've thought this guy's giving homeless people machetes again.
All right.
Good.
Mystery gift.
That is a freaking blessing.
That is a freaking blessing.
Oh man, that'll come in handy too.
That'll come in handy too.
You just don't know, bro.
Really?
You don't know, bro.
That is a freaking blessing. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas. Dude, a homeless man being given a machete and saying that's a blessing just in time.
Dang, it's on time, bro.
Dang, it's on time. What is bro planning with that? He's planning something. Who knows? All right, let's watch a couple more. We got time. This was a Christmas one. This was a Christmas one, but this is Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse.
My favorite parts of Hanukkah
This was from Disney Junior. This was posted by Disney Junior, by the way.
is playing the dreidel game. This is my dreidel.
Huh.
A
Mickey
dreidel
Mouse, I didn't know
is
you had
a
a
spinning
dreidel.
top with 4 different Hebrew letters on it. Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Shin. We each put chocolate gelt into the pot. We then get to spin the dreidel to see if we win all the gelt, half the gelt, none of the gelt, or if we have to add more gelt to the pot.
So gambling.
If you spin a shin,
Just gambling?
you put 1 in. If you spin a noon, you get none from the pot. If you spin hay, you get half. And if you spin gimel, you get the whole pot of gelt.
All right, guys. Thanks, Mickey, for explaining Jewish tradition. I hope he can explain Jewish circumcision next. Haha, I'm Mickey the Mouse. I'm Mickey Mouse. When they circumcise a child, they suck the blood from the child's penis. Haha. Oh, hey, Darcy. All right. Darcy, 1 second. I'm finishing up. 1 second, Darcy. Stop sniffing me.
ICE is now grading American neighborhoods to find target-rich environments. We knew they were
All right, here's ICE using AI to find spots to arrest people.
tracking phones, but a new report from 404 Media reveals they're using a Palantir tool called Elite to score you. The app assigns a confidence score, like a credit rating, but for deportation. It calculates exactly how likely
This
you are
is
to get
China,
home, and
by the
agents are
way.
using it to find what they call target-rich areas. In one case, they didn't just go after a suspect, they identified an apartment complex with a high density of scores and rated the entire building. They're using data from the Department of Health and Human Services to feed this machine. They've turned deportation into algorithmic hunting.
All right. That's what AI is for, by the way. AI is not for asking dumb questions. It's not for AI girlfriends. It's not for therapy. It's for full control and monitoring. They're using AI to target locations. He literally called it a target location. But eventually you will become a target person if the AI depicts that you are one. All right, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I'm sorry that this was a late episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Share with a friend if you did. And goodbye. Let's play this. In the middle of the street, in the place where we all meet. You know the words.
Father wears his Sunday best. Mother's tired, she needs a rest. The kids are playing up downstairs. Sister's sighing in her sleep. Brother's got a date to keep, he can't hang around. Our house in the middle of our street. Our house in the middle of our street. Our house, it has a crowd. There's always something happening and it's usually quite loud. Our mum, she's so house proud. Nothing ever slows her down and a mess is not allowed. Our house in the middle of the street. Our house in the middle of our street. Our house in the middle of our street. Someone tells you that you've got to meet in the middle of our. Father gets up late for work. Mother has to iron his shirt. Then she sends the kids to school. Sees them off with a small kiss.